Good Monday morning. This is again, like Fredrik is back from last week. We're actually recording these back to back, but and we are last week we looked at pixling, which is a project where kind of like a neural network sandbox, so to speak.
Yeah, it's like an evolution simulator where the pixelings, the agents or the creatures in it have neural networks.
Yeah, it's a game about, like, it's a little game sort of where you can, it's kind of like a Minecraft for kind of programmers that want to learn about about neural networks and evolution, sort of. Well, if you like, you don't have to watch that episode to watch this one, but it might help. So you can find it there or there. I will link it. It's also in the episode description. So what are we gonna do today? MPJ from the future here to tell you that today's sponsor is Brilliant, a problem-solving website that teaches you how to think like a computer scientist. If you are interested in learning computer science fundamentals, binary trees, quicksort, big O, that kind of stuff, instead of just passively listening to video courses, they have interactive challenges with increasing difficulty. So it's kind of like a game with a sense of progression. It's very satisfying. Use brilliant.org/FFF when you sign up to let them know that you came from here. Also, if you are one of the first 200 to use that link, you get 20% off the annual subscription. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure you check it out after the show. That link is also in the episode description. So what are we gonna do today?
Yeah, so last time we started building a simple world and we started giving the pixelings some abilities.
Yep.
And maybe for the people that didn't watch the last episode, quickly, like what you do in this game is that you build worlds and you put these creatures into them. So we started building one of these worlds.
And the worlds are online. This is a web-based editor. So we're gonna link this world that we're playing with right now in the episode description so that you can check it out and play around with it as you watch this video, basically.
Yeah. So I think today, since what we did last time, we started giving them the ability to kill each other, and we also give them this kind of weird ability to sleep and do nothing.
Yeah.
And I think
which also humans have.
Yes, it's such a weird ability. So we were thinking maybe let's explore sleeping a little bit and see what we can do with it. I think we don't have like really a plan of.
No, this is like last episode we had planned out a little bit, like figure out, like we have a couple of like we're gonna do this and this and this. This is gonna be more like how you would actually use pixeling.
Yeah.
Like just, hey, I have this, like, why do we sleep? How did that came to be an evolution? Like, it's really strange, really, because I'm reading this book now called Why We Sleep, which summarizes like the last 20 years of sleep research, and it's only recently that we have figured out why we sleep. Earlier, we were just basically dumbfounded. Like, we just like, okay, animals sit down for 8 hours and do nothing, like, and they shut down everything, so they're super easy to eat, and we don't know why. And all animals do it. Like, there's all animals that didn't sleep, they got like terminated by evolution.
Right.
Like, so it seems very beneficial, but we don't know why.
So let's see if we can make the pixelings sleep then, and see if they can somehow get a benefit from this.
Yeah.
Or maybe they won't. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know.
We might not be able to do this. Like, we might fail. So let's try to do this.
Let's get into it. I think the first thing we're going to do is that we're just going to open up the editor and take a look at what we already have.
Sure. All right, let me pause this thing. There.
Cool.
I'm going to check this out like this. I'm going to look inside the pixeling a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do that. Show advanced.
Yeah, go for it.
So here we can see, okay, so it has abilities that we defined before, like the killing properties.
Yeah.
Why does it have two?
So actually what happens is that sometimes they randomize the abilities that I have. So in this case, this guy actually ended up having the same ability twice.
Oh.
But you can actually change the second one to a sleep ability.
Oh.
And now he's got two different abilities.
All right, cool. And then it has a bunch of properties like state and hat and where it is in the world.
Yep.
And it has position and it has brain inputs.
Right, so this is where we get into the whole neural network world.
Yeah, because if you didn't watch the previous episode, every single pixeling has its own little brain.
Exactly,
And it has a
exactly.
neural network inside of it.
Exactly. And they're a little bit like, living in the matrix, that the way they perceive the world is just through numbers.
Oh.
So their inputs, like their eyes or their senses, it's just a long list of numbers.
Yeah, and the senses are basically these... No, not quite. No, okay.
That's the properties. And then down here are actually the senses, the brain inputs. And some of them are some of the properties. Some of them are things around them in the world.
Yeah.
We're going to see how we define the environment of the pixeling as well.
Right.
So,
all right, so it takes like a current state of the world and what he sees, and that's the brain inputs, like eyes, ears.
Yep.
And then you go like get these brain outputs, which is move and focus and writing to memory.
Exactly. So exactly, he takes his inputs, processes that through his neural network, and then produces basically his choices or his what he wants to do in this world. The move decides which direction he wants to move, and then at the bottom you see the ability slots. That's deciding which ability he wants to use in the certain situation that he's in. And if we keep going down, we can actually see his brain in this case.
Yeah. All right. So this is a neural network basically.
This is a neural network.
Or the weights for a neural network.
Exactly. So the way neural networks works is that you take the inputs and then you run these mathematical operations together with the weights.
Yeah.
And then that is what produces the output. And the cool thing is that each little weight here matters for the output.
Yeah.
So if you change one of these numbers, the behavior of the pixeling might change drastically.
Yeah.
And that's the way the inheritance and the evolution of this works, because the children, each of like their weights, which of them might have a small chance to actually change a little bit.
So like when we say like, this brain, like these weights, we take these inputs and get these outputs and we somehow use these weights. Is this very complicated math?
I would say not super complicated. There's a few operations. It's matrix multiplication, and then you have basic summation with the biases.
Yeah.
And then you have what's called an activation, which is
and matrix multiplication is for like I don't have a math background like you. Like it's basically matrix is a multi-dimensional array.
Exactly.
Right? Or a two-dimensional array.
It's kind of like a table of numbers.
Yeah, and then you just matrix multiplication is basically just taking a matrix and then another matrix and then multiplying them, which means like multiplying that value with that value in a certain order.
Exactly. Yeah, you use regular multiplication and addition, and you combine these numbers.
Yeah, so it's basically just times.
Exactly.
Like it's not like some kind of weird symbol.
No, it's a very simple. And then the final thing uses what's called a ReLU is the fancy name. It's actually just a max at the end of these. So it's kind of this thing where you kind of cut the number off, and if it's negative, then it becomes 0, and if it's positive, it stays the same.
Okay, so basically just a way of normalizing the numbers to a certain format, sort of. Yeah.
And that's basically the neural network of these pixelings.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was a digression. I just wanted to like show that the interior of this thing is it's a bit complicated, but not at all as complicated as you might think.
Yeah, exactly.
Neural networks is one of those things that sounds insane when you hear about it. Like, we're building a brain and model on the brain, and like there's axons and neurons and then right. It's really just pretty simple math.
It's very simple actually, and I would add one very interesting things about neural networks. So a neural network it's like a function, right? It takes inputs, produces outputs. And it's been proven that if you have a large enough neural network, it can actually model any other function in the world. So they're what's called a universal approximator. And the reason this is interesting for pixeling world is because that means that there is no behavior that these pixelings can have with their inputs that they can't have. Like there's no limit to what they can do as long as the neural network is big enough. Of course, their neural networks are quite small, but if it was big enough, then it could essentially do anything.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's just
they're like neural networks are insane.
It's very interesting.
It's such a little simple thing that just All right.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Let's give this a bit more detail.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to give them an environment to interact with.
All right.
So if you go ahead and hit add environment up
here in the left.
Yep. So now we're getting to the editor, and I think the environment we're going to create is something for them to eat. So I don't know. We can change the colors, and we can change. You can see the mask up here.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of things that we can choose from.
Yeah, if we're going from function theme, we should have like a bulle, but we don't have that. Like it's not even okay.
Feature request.
Yeah, I suppose like upload. Yeah, exactly. Upload graphics area would be like. Well, but anyway, gold nugget seems like the closest thing.
Sure, let's go with it. And then you can actually change the colors. You can zoom in on the right here to see a preview of this environment.
All right. Oh, it's not too far off actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You can change the min and max colors to whatever you like.
All right, let's do that and then.
And then what we're going to do is a very simple operation with this environment. So each environment, the way it works is that it's just a single value for each cell in the world.
Okay.
So what we can do here is that we can increase that value for each cell in the world at each time step.
So what do you mean? Like there's more bulle in one certain
exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna grow bullar in the world of the pixelings. So if you go ahead and hit plus on each step,
okay,
you can change that set value to an increase value. Oh, just increase, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think we're pretty happy with that. And then finally, we want to add one more thing here, which is going to be a clamp. Yeah, change this one. So we have the clamp.
Yeah, so it never rises above a certain value.
Exactly, so it can't go above 100.
Or below.
And if we hit update now, we're going to get this in our world, and we can actually see that now he's standing on all of these gold nuggets.
Bulla.
And if you hit play here, we can actually see that the value is going to increase very quickly.
Oh, I see, right. Yeah, okay, so, all right, cool. I want to, all right, I'm with you. All right, so this is, hang on, I need to name this.
Yeah.
Bulla.
Perfect.
Yeah, like, are these colors good? Yeah, I'm good with the colors. It's gonna be fine. So, like, it goes from brown when it's like almost no bulla, and then like go really gold when there's a lot of bulla.
Okay, so the second thing we want to do now is that we want to give the pixelings some kind of property that they can eat from the ground and then transfer it to their property. So you know, like in a game, you might have hit points or mana. We're going to give them something like this. So if you open up the editor again.
Here?
Yeah, they all actually lead to the same kind of place. But,
okay.
So if you go into properties.
Oh, so pixeling zoo is basically all of the pixelings, and then like this just happens to be selected.
No, it's more that this is kind of like a prototype pixeling. This is kind of like the sheep, the Dolly the sheep of pixels.
I see.
And he only exists in the editor, but then you can take him and create many instances of him in the world.
I see. This is actually where prototypal inheritance sort of starts to make sense in this context.
Exactly, yeah. So let's...
all right, cool.
Yeah, let's go into properties. And then we create a new property. And you can give it whatever name you want.
All right.
We're going to use this to collect bullar.
Yeah, okay. So like it's smarts. Because you become smart if you eat bullar.
Perfect. We can change the armed reproduce to, let's make that a split.
What does that mean?
So if one pixel collected a lot of bullar and then he reproduced, then the child is going to get half of them and he's going to keep half of them. It's a sharing economy. You know?
All right. So but that's how, I don't know, that's how inheritance works in Sweden.
Yeah.
So...
cool. And then...
Unless there's a spouse. Like, all right.
And then let's actually give him an ability to eat these things then. So if you go into abilities...
yeah.
We... let's actually change this whole thing that we built last time. So instead of an if up here...
Yeah.
Let's change that into a transfer up to. Yeah, perfect.
Transfer.
Or we can use
transfer
the transfer up to. Yeah,
right.
they're similar, but and you can do it from. So you can change this focus pixeling property. If you click that, and then you go environment at pixeling's position.
Environment in focus?
No, the top one here.
Oh, okay.
And then you change the environment from energy to the environment that we created.
Yep.
And then the pixeling property, you want to keep that. But then you want to change energy to smart.
All right, that's fine.
And then you can hit update. And then you can create a few more of these guys.
All right, cool.
And,
oh my god.
And you're gonna hit play up here, and actually you can change the speed.
All right, we need to change this color though. This is I picked the worst color.
All right.
Like it's just hiding all the pixelings.
Environments are here.
Oh, environments there. And what would be a good color that is less?
I think actually if you change the mask maybe to like a neutral mask, maybe grass for now, and then it's gonna be a bit easier to see.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's better.
So if you go ahead and hit play, and if you change the extreme to maybe just hyper, so we can see now that in the background of these pixelings, the bullard that we defined is lower for some of them, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of like eating this, and then it's growing back up again because that's how we built the environment. And you can actually zoom in on
we can see
them.
it. We can see it on these guys here.
Yeah, and you can actually see these like health bars on them, right? That some of them have like filled up their health bars because they've been eating from the ground.
All right, so it's like, and the health bars is like, I guess that points to some default property. So it's if it's just one property, that's going to be the health bar, sort of.
Yeah, actually, you can have multiple health bars.
Okay.
So if you add more health properties, then each of them can actually be shown as a health bar.
All right, brilliant.
But they're actually not using this.
But here we see like this, these just flying around and eating.
Yeah, exactly. But there's actually no point to them eating right now. They're not using this for anything. So let's jump into the editor again, and then we're gonna actually make this requirement that they have to eat to be able to reproduce.
Oh. All right, cool.
Yeah, so let's jump into abilities, and then we're gonna create a new ability. We can actually change the name of this one.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Yeah. Which one?
So we can change the name of the one we just created.
Eating.
Yeah.
No. Fika.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
if you don't know what that is, you'll ask in the comments.
Cool. And let's give them one more ability to use this bullard and reproduce.
Yeah. All right. So this is like, right. Yeah, I guess like birth.
Yeah.
And
what we want to do now is that you want to use an if statement. Yep.
Yeah.
And the condition is going to be that they have to have eaten enough bullard, otherwise they can't reproduce.
Oh yeah. If hang on, maybe I can do this. If let's see. If any of the following conditions are true, maybe, I don't know. Okay, no, I can't do this.
So you can see...
Because I was looking for like if a property is...
Yeah, you were actually close to it. So if you go back here, you can see that these first ones are the comparisons.
Oh, okay. So like if pixeling property smart is above, like, I don't know, 10.
Perfect.
Then it can reproduce. No, hang on. Yeah, okay. I need to delete this. Then because it then runs it here.
Exactly.
Then it reproduces.
Perfect. Let's try this. And you might have to, at this point, we might want to restart the simulation because this is a lot of
and these don't have these abilities, right?
Exactly. They won't have the reproducibility as we just added it.
Yeah, so it doesn't change because it's not a class-based model, it's a prototype-based model. So like it will like only new ones will be spawned from a prototype. It won't change like the existing ones.
Exactly. So if you change the code inside of an ability, then that will update if they have that ability.
Yeah, so the ability is global, but like if it's assigned.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, brilliant. I'll restart it and we'll paint some new pixelings. Whoops. Click this paint pixeling button here. Get some.
Cool. And then we can see to the right here that they're spreading over here.
Yeah. So yeah, these are they have learned to eat. or they were pixelings that ate because of randomness, and that means that they spread a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, save file. Yeah, that's the autosave feature.
In a worse state. All right. Autosave, that's nice.
But there's a bunch of problems with this world. Like, it's such a simple world. For instance, there is no way for them to die right now.
No. Which is well, yeah, exactly, and that I guess that creates a problem with a world where things don't die. This is actually an interesting aspect on like the purpose of death. Like it becomes very stagnant after a while.
Exactly, because there's no development. If you don't have death, yeah, we're going really deep immediately. But
Yeah.
if you don't have death in a world like this, then
I don't think that death is very deep in the context of an evolutionary system. Like it's not like super basic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, like really for them to evolve and become more interesting, they need to leave space for like the next generation.
Yeah.
And right now they're not really doing that. So I think that's actually probably a good step for us to add some way for them to die as well.
Yeah. Perhaps if they eat too much bulla.
That's an interesting that is an interesting idea. Let's do it.
All right. So let's see. Environment rule. No, hang on. Okay, abilities. See how if I can do this.
Actually, you were
Die, I suppose. It's an ability to die.
Well, actually, you were on the right tab that rules might actually be a good way to use, because rules are kind of like these global things that you can run.
Yeah.
And they always run. The pixels don't choose to run them or not.
Yeah, but I figured I could use this as a. Now I could model this as an ability, I think.
All right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like because now I want to use what I've learned. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but I'm gonna like do the ability overeat.
All right.
So if this it's bigger than if pixeling property smart. Okay, we need to change that to like fat instead. Is above. No, hang on. Is above. Oh yeah, this we want a constant here.
Yeah.
Where is the constant? Shit.
What's that?
Oh, there, constant. Is this? Oh, this is not in alphabetical order. No,
yeah.
or these are kind of special.
Yeah, there's no real good order at all right now. It's a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, but this is very beta software.
Yeah.
But it works really well. Anyway,
It hasn't crashed yet. Well, fingers crossed, but
yeah. So if like say that it's like 25 or something.
yeah.
And then run die.
Yep.
So it might not necessarily like some pixelings, because these are chosen by the pixelings. Like they do have free will picking between the abilities, so it won't always die when it hits 25, but it's likely to die after eating a lot of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to change this property now to call it fat instead.
Cool. We're gonna have to just update them in all the places where you use them, because it's it doesn't.
Yeah, it's weekly typed.
Yeah, it doesn't automatically update.
Fat. But it's kind of nice that it gives me like the errors in because everything is running all the time, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, actually, the game becomes paused when you open the editor, but
okay. Okay. Inability overeat. No. Yeah, fat.
Perfect.
There we go. Debugging. Cool. So I'll just restart the world and see.
Yeah.
So now we have like some. I wonder if we get some pixelings that overeat here.
Yeah.
Do I see that?
So I can tell you right now that I think there's gonna be one problem with this.
Yeah.
Because as we created this as an ability, they choose their own abilities.
Yeah.
So if there's a pixel,
so they are very likely to reproduce during the period between them having enough fat to reproduce, and
I think both that, but it's also that they would have to choose to kill themselves, basically, right?
Oh yeah, so
So
those exactly. So that strain of so the strain of the breed of pixlings that are choosing to kill themselves when they overeat, they will very quickly die out.
It's like you gave them a gun and you made it so they can only shoot themselves. And of course,
That's
some of
amazing.
them
Of course,
will
it's
do
a new
that,
like.
but
I keep thinking like that's amazing because I didn't think of that because I don't think in AI. I don't think in neural network. I think in programming. So I just think like, oh, the choice. Of course, that's just a random function. But no, they will learn.
Actually learn. Yes.
Or they won't learn. It's just that they genetically they will learn.
Exactly. I mean, the ones that choose to kill themselves, they won't spread. So like it's just it's going to be at the end of using that one.
That's actually such a good example. I learned something. Okay, so that didn't work. We have to
hold on. You can actually, what you can do is that you can actually copy this.
Oh.
So if you right click the little thing here and then you copy.
All right.
And then now we can delete it. But then we have this in our clipboard.
Right. And now I can create a rule.
Yes.
All right. So if this, can I paste here?
No, actually, but like, so it's a little bit buggy still. But if you click the plus on the second one, on the one below, and then click it normally, like left click, and then right click this one, and then click paste above.
Oh.
There we go. So a little bit cumbersome, but it's gonna become better in the future.
All right, but run the following every step. Okay. Does this look right? If the all of it pixel property fat, then run die.
Exactly, and then we might
delete this.
So now they don't have a choice to run this. Like it's always gonna run.
Yeah.
So now they better watch out for overeating.
All right. So like the overeating rule.
Yeah.
So I love that little I love that.
So let's maybe restart it and see if we can see what we can have happen.
All right, let's see what happens.
And I don't know what's going to happen because I've never tried this either.
No.
It's a completely new experiment. It seems like they are not actually eating from the
They're not eating
anymore, or no, I'm not exactly sure what's happening.
Yeah, and they're not reproducing either.
They are not.
Perhaps if we create some more, because this is something that I learned from the other episode, that sometimes you just need more pixelings.
Yes.
It's sort of like how life will life in the universe is very unlikely, so we needed basically an infinite universe for life to happen.
Exactly.
So let's paint a bunch more fluffykins.
All right. They seem very reluctant to eat. Reproducing. So
no, they seem exactly. They seem reluctant to eat in the first place, right?
Yeah, right. You're right.
So why might they not be eating? All right, let's have a look. And let's have rules. So if pixeling property fat is above 25, then run die.
Should we just increase the number, or I don't know?
Maybe. Let's okay. So let's say that they have to eat 250, but it seems still weird. It's still like they can reproduce after 10.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of odd.
All right, let's reproduce. Turn this.
Okay,
now it's working.
Right. And then a bunch of them just died there as well.
Yeah, so they yeah, exactly. They are overeating.
So actually what you can do is that you can actually lower this number now.
Yeah.
And it will affect, so if you open up the editor and then make it 25 now, it might be that they have evolved enough that they will survive.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So they can now, so they're now clever enough to survive the harsh conditions.
Right, yeah, now a lot of them died out, but some of them are still surviving, so presumably they...
Yeah, but I mean, over time, I think that they will, if not everyone dies, that means that some strain will figure out how to not overeat.
Right, yeah.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah, because this is a kind of like not. It turns out that like maybe not eating too much is a very tricky thing to do.
Well, I think actually what they will learn. I think.
I mean,
they will learn-
it reflects like the problem that we have in where food is abundant. Like they have
Right.
so much food, it just grows immensely fast. So their food is never scarce here.
Right. So I mean, it's kind of one of these things that it's actually not too hard for them to learn because the rule is so simple. It's like, do I have too much food? Then don't eat anymore. So it usually works out
But
pretty
as you
okay.
see, like it seems like they have a trouble finding the balance though,
Yeah.
because no breed here is dominant. Like there could be a breed that was very good eventually at eating just the right amount, and then they would completely dominate.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they're not. Like there seems to be like they seem to be like not
Yeah, you're right.
stop eating basically
Yeah, it's interesting.
and stop reproducing.
Maybe we should punish them if they stop doing because it seems like they're doing exactly what you're saying, that they're just not doing anything right now, right?
No, exactly. They're not starving.
Yeah.
So perhaps we should add starvation. By the way, notice that we are completely like gone away from the sleep thing here. That will happen.
Eventually, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, yeah, but all right.
Actually, one thing I can teach you here is that if you click on one of them, if you use this tool and then click on one of them.
Yeah, the select tool here, and click this one.
So we can see that he's got only 2 abilities and he's alternating between them.
Yeah.
And it seems that it doesn't even have the eat ability. It's only got the sleep and the birth ability.
Oh, so okay, I see. So that is tragic. Reminds me of my old high school friends. Anyway, it's also it's very slow right now. Like the simulation. Oh, the simulation. That's a bug. Like when the select window is open, like the simulation becomes much slower.
Exactly, it slows down a lot because it needs to read back information all the time.
All right, cool.
But what we can do is that we can give them at least 3 abilities because now these guys are just surviving by doing nothing, and it's kind of boring. So you can do that by opening up the editor again.
All right.
And then going into pixling, and then changing the ability slot count here to 3.
Ability slot count. Okay, it's here.
And then we can actually configure exactly which ones they are gonna come born with when we spawn new ones. So we can set them up to have all these 3. And then the final thing we can do is that we can change the mutations ability chance to 0.
Oh, okay.
So what that means is that they're gonna always keep these ones.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, there's a chance for them to like replace one of them with something
Oh,
else.
so they basically evolve out like Fika in the first place or something.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna restart it because I don't remember anything. And let's paint some new pixelings and see what happens.
Okay. They seem reluctant. Oh, there we go. There's something happening here.
On the edges, Jesus.
Yeah.
Somebody's like they have figured out how to. Yeah, this is what I would have expected to happen actually.
Right. Yeah.
Like they seem to. Oh, they're clustering in a very interesting way as well.
You are right. That's a weird pattern. And this is one of these instances where I have absolutely no idea what the evolutionary benefit of, or there might actually not even be an evolutionary benefit.
Yeah,
to
so
this.
if I just restart this and just do exactly the same thing, well, what will happen?
Yeah, let's find out, I guess.
Yeah. So she talked about in the last episode, like when a pixeling is born, like it gets a little bit of a random brain. So it's not, the randomness doesn't only come from the fact that I position them differently. It also comes from the fact that there's just inherent randomness in the universe, like both this one and the real one.
Seems on this one not much is happening.
Yeah, and sometimes we just have to spray more before we see.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
These guys have evolved to do something. I can't see if they are also forming. They're forming a pattern as well, aren't they? But it's a little bit.
It's not quite the same as the other
different
one.
pattern, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it strikes me how organic this is. Like it really is life.
Oh yeah.
There's no like computer. Like it doesn't feel like a computer at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in like the theory of life and artificial life, and I mean, there's this one thought that maybe life, or like, you know, a way of thinking of life is uniqueness.
Yeah.
And each of these pixelings are unique.
Yeah.
Like none of them are the same. Or, I mean, there might be two of them with a very small likelihood that are the same. But it's just one of these ways that maybe, you know, in some form of philosophical sense, they're like a little bit alive because they're unique. Like there's no one else in the universe of everything that is the same as this particular pixeling here.
But really cool.
Cool. Should we?
Well, we're at 35 minutes now, which is like a long episode. And I think that we should wrap up, because I think that this was pretty amazing, actually.
All right.
Because I think that what? Okay, let's wrap up. What did we learn? What did we set out to learn? I kind of forgot. It was something about sleep.
We started out with wanting to model sleep, and then I think we didn't really get to modeling sleep. But then I think we went into modeling overeating.
Overeating, yeah. In an environment where like there's enormous amounts of food.
Yeah, there's an abundance of food in this environment. I'm not sure if we learned like anything on a philosophical level of like, well, is it good or bad to eat too much or anything like that? But
I was surprised by how I thought that the neural networks would be better at learning the whole overeat thing, or maybe that was not a problem actually. If I change the rules to 25 right now, it's.
Right. Yeah.
And then right now, they are pretty good at figuring out the right amount of eating. Actually.
Yeah, it might. Sometimes it's just a case of like spawning, like you said before, spawning enough of them, and then it changes. And it seems like in this case, there's yet another way of organizing themselves. I don't know if they're forming a pattern now as well or not, but. Yeah, it seems like they're also forming a slightly different pattern this time.
Yeah. All right, you know what? We're gonna give this episode is pretty long, so what we're gonna do is that we're gonna leave the audience with completing this and modeling the concept of sleep in evolutionary terms. I think that would be pretty interesting. Like, if you can do that and leave a link in the comments to your pixeling world. Again, you can find the link to this pixeling world in the episode description. And also, like, if you're on the Fun forum, make sure you post it there. And I think that is it. If you have any questions or thoughts about this, like you have access to the creator here in the comment field. So like that's a very good way of getting support for your stuff. Make sure that you play around with Pixeling World because it's amazing. Like these tools to learn machine learning in a way that isn't watching Andrew and G's tutorials where you're like, oh, math symbols. I think that's pretty great.
No math.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that people don't understand evolution all that much. Like this gives me a completely different newfound view of what evolution is.
Yeah, for sure. I think it also blows me away all the time when I look at it and just like, how evolution actually works. The whole concept of not having a goal, that they're just competing with each other, is always like fascinating to me and
yeah, that's such a good lesson in life in general. That why does this exist? Why do we do this? Why does people because it was somehow beneficial for them to do it, or rather, it made it that behavior replicated itself.
Exactly.
It's not because it's fair or anything. Like, things happen because it evolved to do that.
Or necessarily, it might not even be better. It might just be better in a specific context.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a...
Yeah, and it might also be that the people, like the pixelings, that maybe they just develop like some kind of weird behavior where they just go like this, like if they had like motor functions, and it would be like, why is it doing that? Well, it might not really be related to anything. It's just that it was not detrimental for them to do it, and someone develop it, but at the same time they also develop some other really good ability.
Exactly.
And now like they just do these things.
And this actually happens in nature as well. You might have like, you know, a suboptimal organ or like some function in an animal or a plant that is actually, it's not that great, but because they're doing something else really well,
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the pinky, like just the pinky toe, like something like that.
Instance,
it's just like, does it?
Yeah, or our appendix that is, well, I'm not sure if it's now proven that is doing something useful, but it's a type of thing.
Yeah, like this is just endlessly fascinating, and it's such a cool project. We're done with demonstrating the pixeling world, but next week we're actually gonna have a talk more about like projects in general, like the having, like, why build something like this? Like, you can't make money out of this. I don't know. Maybe you can. Like, maybe it's like,
probably not. But
nah, it's not, or at least that's not why you did it. At least.
No, yeah.
It has no obvious monetization, like, and it doesn't even have like, is this even good? A good way of learning about evolution? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. It just, but it's cool. It's just really nice, and we want to like, we've been talking about that a lot, and we're gonna spend an entire episode on that subject next week. So please tune in then. And I'm here from the future again to remind you that if you feel like it's finally time to learn Big O and binary trees, then you should go to brilliant.org/FFF. Also in the episode description. That is it. You have, if you're new and have still watched this far, you have just watched an episode of Fun Function. I release these every Monday morning, 0800 GMT. But you will forget that, so you can click here to subscribe or watch another one here right now by clicking there. I am MPJ.
I'm Fredrik Norén.